Ladies and gentlemen, today I got you guys a KASTOV 762 blueprint. I haven't made a video on this gun in forever. This thing is absolutely beautiful. I completely forgot about the KASTOV, and so I made this new build, and oh my days. Yo, this thing, you have to use it. I dropped you guys nasty MGB, so many feeds, there's no recoil. You gotta use it. So the class we're rocking today is actually my friend Surrowdy. He's one of the best players in the entire world. Like, if you go up on the leaderboard, you'll see him. He is ranked up there. With all that said, though, for the build, if you have the Heated Madness blueprint, it's going to be very similar to this one. He just modified it to make it a little bit better. So one thing you do want to go ahead, since this gun has a lot of recoil, the recoil is pretty weird, bounces left to right a lot, and that's like basically one of the biggest downsides of the KASTOV. So we are going to be adding the Edge 47, which is going to be one of the best underbarrels for recoil control with still having a lot of mobility. If you do want a little bit more mobility on the weapon, feel free to run the Commando or the Shark Fin 90, but for this build, just to make it super satisfying, easy to use, we are running the Edge 47. And then for the tuning on here, go ahead and improve the recoil stabilization to right about plus 0.50 ounces. That is going to reduce that horizontal recoil, and then bring up the aim and idle stability, removing that idle sway, so increase that by plus 0.19 inches. Now the weapon should actually be a lot easier to use. It's just the mobility is going to be a little bit wonky, and so that's why we are going to be adding a laser. If you don't want to add a laser, I will give you a variation of the build, but please try out the laser at first. It is super fun. So the laser you want to run is going to be the OLE, or you can run the, I think it's the Skalager PQ. This one is great because it gives you a lot of ADS speed, but the enemies can't really see the laser since it's not that bright. But the OLE, we all know, it adds so much mobility, just really makes the weapon so much lighter, adds a lot of aim and idle stability, just making the weapon so much easier to use. It's just the enemies actually see the laser, so at times, you got to be careful of that. And then for the tuning on here, just to bring up the mobility that we are losing with that underbarrel, you want to increase the ADS speed by negative 19.13 feet. And then for the bar on the left, go ahead and improve the sprint to fire speed. This is going to allow you to maybe be able to win a gunfight, I guess, against an SMG player. So increase that by negative 0.16 ounces. Now the gun, a lot of mobility. We got a lot of recoil control, but we are going to be adding even more recoil control. Lately, I've been liking having a lot of recoil control on my guns. It just makes them so satisfying and easy to use. Like, you can just let the enemies push you. You don't miss any bullets, and so that's what's going to happen with the IG. You literally will not miss any shots. This does hurt the mobility a lot, but it literally eliminates all that recoil. And then for the tuning on here, because you don't really need that much damage range, we are going to go ahead and improve the ADS speed to negative 0.21 inches. Then for the bar on the left, to make the weapon feel just a little bit lighter. And the underbarrel is already giving us so much recoil control that it doesn't really matter, so we can get away with increasing the aim walking speed by negative 0.39 pounds. Now the gun, we all know, tons of recoil, a lot of mobility. One thing that my boy Surrowdy is running, this makes the weapon actually pretty fun to use. On here we don't really run suppressors, but the Titan silencer on here just eliminates all that sound, so the enemies don't really know where you're pushing from, and there's not that many cons. Yes, we are losing damage range, but it's not going to be that much, and you guys will see in the gameplay, we're just smacking everybody around. So then for the tuning on the Titan silencer, you guys want to go ahead and improve the ADS speed to right about negative 1.20 ounces. Then for the bar on the bottom, we are going to go ahead and improve the bullet velocity, just improving just the overall feel of the weapon. It should feel a little bit better, or like it's going to feel like you're playing on a better ping, so just max out that bullet velocity bar. And so now we got like the core build. From here, it's going to be a personal preference thing. If you do not like an optic, honestly, I would throw in the Chrono Mini Pro or Slimline Pro, and then I would tune it for the flinch resistance, making it easier to stay on target, and then make it farther away. And so if you want the sight, there you guys go. And then if you do want to increase the mobility without really hurting the weapon, feel free to throw in the KASTOV Rama. Pro Light is very good. It's just going to be a little bit hard to use the weapon, so this is a very high mobility, no recoil gun. It feels so wonky. I was going to save this build for another video, but you guys can have it right now. And so right here, this doesn't really do anything, so you can just increase it to negative 2.17 ounces, and then improve the aim walking speed. So this is another very fun build. If you guys want to increase the mobility without hurting the weapon that much, feel free to throw on that True Tag grip, and then I would improve the sprint to fire speed like usual by negative 0.18 inches, then improve the ADS speed to mitigate the cons that we are getting with the barrel by negative 0.41 ounces. So right here is another very good build, but the one that we are running in the gameplay. Oh, before that, you guys can run an ammo. You can run the overpressured or the high velocity. And so then on here, improve the damage range, and then improve the bullet velocity to right about there. It's not going to change the weapon that much. I don't really recommend it to that. Stop! Movie. it always moves. So the build I really recommend everyone to try out first is going to be the one with the 40 round mag. This is the one that we are running in the gameplay. Just, you know, per usual, want to give you guys a couple of variations in case you guys want to mix some things up. Now let's get into the nasty MGB. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, doing a little bit of a voiceover today. So if you're trying to get better at the game, I would really pay attention. Gonna kind of break down everything that I'm doing, everything that's going through my brain. Right here, we just kind of got finessed. I ran into the enemy spawn. Nobody was there. In Call of Duty, game of predictions. All you got to do is know where the enemies are at, and you kind of figure that out based off where your teammates are. Or at the beginning of the match, you usually know where they spawn. But right there was just no one. They just went different areas. And so now, died, spawned back in. I'm going to play around the hard point because I know the hard point is going to make the enemies come to me. When I'm playing search and destroy and I can't really find an enemy and I'm on the attacking side, I will always plant the bomb so then the enemies will come to me. Over here, I did check the wrong side. The enemies were right down there where I just killed that guy. So I should have checked that instead of checking my right side. And as you play more, you'll kind of remember where the enemies are spawning. So then you can just pre-aim certain lanes and let the enemies push you. Makes it very, very easy to play the game. Especially for this build. This is like a high mobility build, but it's also a no recoil build. Most of the no recoil builds, they really are just a little bit slower, but they don't miss ever. And so, you know, you just got to play with the gun a little bit differently than usual. Over here, I know the enemies are going to be coming to the left. Plus, the UAV I had did tell me that. And yo, this thing fries, dude. Oh my god. No, it actually kills so quick. Like, I already knew this class was good. Shout out to my boy Surroundy for making it. I already knew it was good, but then I used it and I was like, holy dude, this thing is so fun to use. And like on shipping, extra fun to use too. Right here, kind of piecing up the enemies. They can't do nothing on me. They can't do nothing. And this gun actually used to be way more broken than it is now. It used to be like a 2-shot kill up to long range. Now I believe it's only a 2-shot kill at like close to medium range. But it's still a very, very good gun. And I'm surprised more people don't use it. Like you guys can see, these guys literally don't stand a chance. And it's just so simple. Sometimes I will throw on like an optic. Like maybe if I don't need that 40 round mag, I'll just throw on the optic. But that 40, you can just obliterate everything. Never need to worry about reloading. So over here, I'm just kind of playing this building because I know the enemies are spawning to my right. I got the advanced UAV. I can see exactly where they're spawning. I don't want to push up too much though because I don't want to flip it and make them not spawn where they're at. But since I notice they're spawning somewhere else, I'm going to push through, take out these enemies out of this spawn. So then they all start spawning more to my left. MGB! The Mr. These Nights Only. He almost got me with that. But you know, we kind of fried him. So you should definitely hit the subscribe button if you're feeling the vibes and you want to continue to get better at the game. And you want the best class setups for Modern Warfare 3. Make sure you got the noties on. And a like is actually required. I don't know why you wouldn't leave a like if you hear this. Okay, so now here I'm going for my second nuke. Trying to figure out where the enemies are spawning. I don't exactly know. I see my teammates are all close to me. And then, oh, okay, I got the UAV. So now I know all the enemies are going to be on that left side. On the 35 now. And I know a lot of enemies always come through here. So that's why I'm going to go through this route. Also, I like to have like a wall to my back to eliminate the flank. So I don't like when the enemies can flank me and shoot me from behind. So I try to like stay on the edges of the map to make sure that doesn't happen. I will push into the middle once I have like the advanced UAV and things. And you know, I know exactly where all the enemies are going to be. Over here, just still playing aggressive. Some people will start to slow it down when they start popping off. Nah, the playstyle you had is the reason you got to this point. Right there, I could have killed him if we had a faster sprint to fire speed, but it was a little bit slow, so then I couldn't fire my gun in time. Therefore, he won the gunfight, which is one thing that's going to be nice in Modern Warfare 3. Supposedly, everything's going to be faster, so then you actually can run and gun with an AR. Obviously, SMGs will still be like... it'll still be the best, but you know, you still have the option to run around with an AR, and it'll feel like more like the old Call of Duties. Supposedly, we're probably getting blue balled again, like just lied to, so I wouldn't trust it, but supposedly. Over here, kind of getting gun. I think we do die one more time, but then we go on another very big streak. Next gameplay, I don't get a nuke, but it's only like 3 minutes long, and it was just a very intense shoot house gameplay where it was so annoying how I died, and I just really have to show you guys. So that one will be right after this gameplay. Over here, I know an enemy's in here. I didn't want to rush him initially just because I knew he was ADS, so that's why I was letting my teammates go forward as bait so then I can swoop in and clean that man up. Over here, oh, crazy nade. Watch this. This is probably my best nade I've ever thrown. Phenomenal nade. If you haven't already subscribed, you gotta subscribe for that nade. Crazy one. I think right here is the streak. I like start to lock it in again. I was just gonna do a regular gameplay, but it was super late at night. I live with my grandparents still, and so I didn't want to, like, you know, wake him up and everything. I still can get my own place and things. Don't think, you know, I can't get my own place and shit. I'm just helping them out with some things. Okay, so whenever you see one enemy, most likely his teammates are going to be over there. So I just saw that man to the left, so I kind of know the enemies are going to be on the left side of the map. They're going to be pushing through, except for this man, this weird man on the roof. I did not like him at all. Oh, right here is the most annoying thing on earth. We get hit by an RPG, and then he throws a Molotov at us. Now this is the good streak. This is actually going to be where the gameplay gets a little bit more intense. Yeah, I did not like that man. I did not like that man. We might actually, I think we get a second nuke here. I think we start to really pick it up and start going crazy. Just lock it in fully. When I'm playing with no face cam, I can play so much better. This is my first game on, so we're a little bit rusty. But it's kind of fun to play with, like, without recording, since I only record when I play. Like, I'm always recording, and so it's nice to just play, like, without recording. Without recording my face, basically. Lights off, you know, just full focus. This bus is also a very good spot. It's a little bit hard for the enemies to see you, and you have some cover. Although I believe this is kind of easy to shoot through, so just be careful and don't, like, rely on the bus. It's just a nice little pit stop area if you just want to slow down and have a nice heady while the enemies push you. I know the enemies are still back there, but they're not really pushing up too much, so I need to, like, make my way over to them. But it looks like that straight SAE did kill them all, so now I'm going to be rotating back over here. See how I'm not pushing up fully. I do not want the enemies to spawn in behind me. I want them to continue to spawn back there, so then they can just keep running into my sights. That's all you have to do in Call of Duty to get your nukes. You just got to sponge up the enemies, basically. And some people says that that's no skill. I'm like, what do you mean that's no skill? That's all the skill in Call of Duty. All you gotta know is just where the enemies are coming from. That's like the biggest skill gap. And then being able to hit your shots and move when you need to. Right there, I don't know if I was getting hit markers while shooting to the wall, or if that was my helo. But that was kind of crazy. That was a pretty good guess. Dude, this thing just flies like crazy. Okay, I think do I call in the nuke now? Okay, maybe I go on one more streak, and then I call in the nuke. We had a crazy KD this game. Next game, no, the game after next game, we had an even better KD. That one was, oh my days, that was a crazy one. The Vondo waterfront one, you gotta stay tuned for that game. Over here, same thing. I got the advanced UAV up, so it's a lot easier to find the enemies. I'm just rotating around, and since I know where the enemies are looking, I know how much I can push up without the enemies seeing me and things. Right there, you know, we missed the flick and the wick, and so we're gonna call on the MGB on them. We're gonna nuke these dudes. And so I'm gonna cut the face cam. I'll see you guys in the shoot house gameplay. Okay, boys, we are back. We're on Shoot House. This gameplay is going to be a lot more energetic than the other one, and I believe the players on here are a little bit better, and we don't get a nuke, but we get so close, and the thing that happens is so annoying. Like, oh my god, I felt so horrible inside, because I was like, I almost got all the gameplays for the day, and I was like, shoot, no, I gotta go get another one. Like, I was so close to it. Over here, so I don't have any of my streaks, really. I have the UAV, so I'm just trying to maneuver on the edges of the map. You'll see me not really going into mid, because I just don't want to get shot in the back. I don't really know where the enemies are going to be. Letting them push me, since we have the AR, like a slower AR build. That man, he might have walls, dude. I don't know how he knew I was there. I genuinely do not know. You guys can see right here, we are frying. This thing is so difficult to die with. Sometimes when you see a lot of dots, like, people run away. But no, I think sometimes it's good to, like, push up and go into the enemies. Well, that sounds horrible. Just go where the enemies are at instead of backing off, because you can get some crazy kills. And when you get a kill, the enemy doesn't know where you're at because they spawned in. You could have moved somewhere else. It's very hard to find someone after they killed you, and so that's why it's a crucial part to, like, stay alive, and it just helps you get so many more kills when you're always alive, since the enemies will just not know where you're at. You always have the power position. Same thing goes for ranked. So, like, when you're using an SMG, you just got to run that dead silence, be in the enemy's face, not let them predict you, and the more kills you get, the easier it is to get more kills, since they'll just have a harder time predicting. Right there was a man looking down mid, so I just dolphin dive across, playing it kind of safe. Got the advanced UAV up, so I know how much I can push out. If I see 2 enemies, I'll push out. If I see 3, probably I'm not going to push out. And I see the enemies are still flooding through, so I'm just, you know, walking around, using all the head glitches I can find. That's basically what you got to do also. Is like when you're pushing the enemies, look for head glitches and just there's so many on the game. So just keep staying behind cover as you're pushing up, so then you just have a lower chance of dying, because you don't want the enemies to hit those shots, or if they do hit those shots, you know, it's a lot harder to hit their shots. Over here, see, I'm using this heady right here, taking advantage of the heady. I do see some enemies coming up behind me, so I don't want to get sandwiched. So that's why I'm going to push out. See my teammates spawning back there. They can kill those 2 people off the point. A lot of enemies are on this side. It's more valuable to get these kills. Right here, I thought I was going to die, but this build surrounding made, it's too nasty. It's too freaking nasty, so we killed him. And now see, again, I'm playing the edges of the map. I don't want them to flank me at all. I think I will go upstairs in a second just to get more map control. Sometimes this map, it's like you'll be running forward, then there's just a random guy in the corner and he just obliterates everything, just ruins your whole day. This is pretty sketchy to push through because there's a lot of enemies. I mean, a lot of places where they could be, given there was an enemy walking through. So I ran away to a different spot. I was gonna look down mid, but I see enemy. I mean, I don't see my teammates on the point. Usually if your teammates are on the point, the enemies are going to be pretty close by, so that's why I made my way back over here. Now I'm playing this high ground, although I don't really like to play that. I feel a little bit scummy playing the high ground, so I was running away, but I did put myself in a bad position, so honestly, I should have kept that high ground. I don't think I would have died if I kept that high ground. That dude, so annoying. Oh my days, dude. I cannot believe he just jumped around the corner. They're all like not even that good. Man jumps around the corner, completely world stars me after I've world starred him so many times. So upsetting. This gameplay right here, Vandal, actually a crazy gameplay. I really like this one. We have some pretty good accuracy. We're feeling more warmed up. We got the flicks on the enemies, and we're not even John Wick yet. And then so in here in this map, you can get some crazy spawn traps. A lot of very nice spawn traps on this map. All the enemies will continue to spawn back there as long as you stay in this house. You don't gotta stay in the house, just don't push up too much to where, you know, you spawn them out. I see that man not moving and no other enemies coming, so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go forward, kill that man, and then have all the enemies spawn in. I got that UAV where that was my teammates, and I know they're, now I know kind of where the enemies are gonna be. We, you know, bust Nicki Minaj's buns upstairs, move down, find our boyfriend, boom, send him back to prison. Get that man in the back, no recoil. Some people think this class has recoil. Well, when I was using, okay, basically, sometimes I'll make a gun has a little bit of recoil. Like this thing has a little bit of recoil. And then people will be like, oh, it's unusable. I'm like, no, it's not unusable. Just because there's a little bit of recoil doesn't mean it's unusable. Practice makes perfect. Some people say the Vel class I made with the Shark Fin 90 underbarrel, yes, it has a little bit of recoil, but if you get used to it, that's like the meta best pro player setup for it. But a lot of new players, you know, don't understand that much. And now we're coming over here. You guys can see I haven't really left this building at all. The enemies are just going to continue to spawn back there. I do see 2 enemies spawn behind me, so that's why I pushed up to get control of this side, so then I don't have to worry about the enemies like spawning behind me and in front of me. Gonna be getting a crazy spawn trap over here. I thought I could kill that man, but I guess I could not. I could not hit enough of the wall bangs. The wall bangs kind of make your bullets a lot weaker. Over here, I don't know how Nicki Minaj didn't hear me. I should have died right there. I think if that was a better player, I would have died, because they would have just pre-aimed that, since the footsteps in this game are so loud. Luckily, in Modern Warfare 3, we get dead silence, and so that means we can run a perk that is gonna make our footsteps a lot quieter, so now you can run around the map without the enemies really hearing you as well, which is honestly very helpful. Over here, you guys can see the spawn traps on this map are so strong, which is why this is one of my favorite maps in the game. Like, I hate it just because it's like annoying at times, but I also love it because it's just super easy to predict where the enemies are going to be coming from. If we had a map like this but with like no water, that'd be sick. But also it's kind of cool to have the water, since that's a big feature in this game, and not really that many maps have water. I think it's only Hydro and this map that really have a lot of water. Lighthouse doesn't count. Lighthouse, yeah, no, fuck that map. I do not like that map. All the enemies still spawning back there. I know I'm pretty close to the nuke, so I'm playing aggressive but not too aggressive. I don't want to die from behind, and it seems like I've cleared out this whole area. If you know, this map, there's 2 big spawn points. You have the back side of the map and the front side of the map. And the back side of the map, they weren't spawning there, so I know they're going to be over on this side. Plus my helo is pinging them. That's one reason I like the helo. Over here, the reason I'm going in the water is just to ensure my safety. I have a very good pistol that I am very confident in this lobby I can win every gunfight underwater, so I'm pushing up. I see a man. I didn't know if he was looking at me or not, so I didn't risk it. It would take a long time for me to fire my gun just because the sprint to fire speed in this game is super slow. So that's why I just jumped back in the water. Luckily, I checked behind me for some reason. Over here, you see how I just flew out of the water? The way to do that is to go deep and then don't get too close to the surface. I mean, don't go too close to the object in the water. So basically go under, then swim deep, and then get as much momentum and swim and jump out of the water. And if you're not too close to the box that you're trying to land on, you'll actually skip the mantle and your guy will just land on it. So go underwater and then don't get too close, but like get close and then jump out of the water and land on it. If you go into custom games and practice that, you'll get it down. It's super easy, super helpful. You can freak out the enemies because you just randomly fly out of the water. Oh, we got the MGB. I didn't even notice. Yo, if you haven't already, subscribe. 2 MGBs in one video. Hit the like button. I know you already have, but if you haven't, what are you doing? What are you doing? This man, I could have left him alone and got more kills, but I was like, you know what? I want to kill you. You're annoying. I'm going to go underwater and I'm going to obliterate you with this pistol. Plus, I didn't want the spawns to flip right there. See how I went deep, came out of the water, and I was a little bit farther away from the surface, so it didn't give me the option to mantle up. I just basically flew out of the water. Very, very helpful thing, especially in ranked play. I do that all the time in ranked. There are these dudes. We're just dropping them like flies. Nicki Minaj, I don't know what you were doing in that corner with that dude. I'm not even going to ask. Not even gonna ask. I think we do die up here. I know we go on like one other pretty good streak. Unless I call in the MGB right now, but I'm pretty sure we go on one more pretty good streak. Yeah, okay. So in here, I can't really remember what we did. Let's see what's gonna go on. The enemies are pushing up. See how I died? Now the enemies are starting to get map control in the middle, and it makes it so enemies could be to my left and to my right. All the enemies are just trying to shoot down my healer now. Yo, this thing fries. It kills him so unbelievably quick. We actually used to use this. Damn, look at that feat. We actually used to be able to use this in rank play, and then they took it out because of the 2-shot headshot, which makes sense, but you know, if we didn't have a headshot multiplier, we could use any gun in ranked. And that's just because headshots in Call of Duty aren't that skillful in a ranked session. Well, if you're playing pubs like this and the enemies aren't that good, then you can get headshots. But if you're in like ranked, you don't really aim for the head. You just kind of try to kill them as fast as possible, just because everything's so fast paced, and headshots will usually be a luck based thing. If you don't believe what I'm saying, like every single pro agrees with me, and they play this game all day. You know, their life is Call of Duty, and that's what they say. And so basically, if there wasn't a headshot multiplier, we would have a lot more guns to use in ranked play. So hopefully next Call of Duty doesn't have that, but it seems like they do that every year. Pubs, I guess it's kind of good to have one, but ranked, it's not good to have one overall. Okay, so he's calling the MGB right here just because it's TDM. The game is about to end. I was hoping to get like hardpoint or something, then we can really get a high kill game. I could probably get 150 kills at least on hardpoint on this in this lobby on hardpoint. And you know, I think I'm gonna cut it here. So I hope you guys did enjoy this. Hopefully you guys got a little bit better, and I will see you guys in my next video. Deuces.